Hey besties! Today we'll be sewing the newly relaunched Moon River crossbody bag from Kathy at K.dill Handmade. This pattern includes many fun SVG applique shapes. I used the mouse head shape slightly modified in my version. This pattern includes an interior zippered pocket, and I also modified this bag to add an additional slip pocket for my glitter snow glow pouch, which I'll show you in another video how to create. This is a semi-bound bag and is rated as an adventurous beginner, but I personally lean more towards the intermediate rating. This is a one bobbin bag, and the final dimensions are 5 inches high by 7 inches wide by 3.5 inches deep. On the exterior of this bag, I used Backstitch's debossed vinyl with luxe vinyl accents for more me know. The strap is from Fabric Therapy. I have no clue where I got these pulls. Let's get rolling, besties. The pieces we'll be using are 2 main body pieces, that's black on the bottom left. I cut a 5x5 piece of clear for my pocket to see through for the glitter. I have 2 D-ring tabs, 2 side zipper gussets, which I forgot to cut the liners for, so don't forget that. I have also 2 zipper pocket liners, and you only need 1. I did cut 2 zipper pocket overlays on purpose. You have your base with your decoville. I also have 2 liners instead of 1 main lining because I had directional print. I did use self-adhesive film for my stabilizer. These are all the hardwares and stuff you're going to need. Just add 1 more zipper pull to this bunch. I forgot it. Okay, so now we're going to build our crossbody strap. It's just the way you've built all crossbody straps. I'm assuming if you're making this, you've probably already made a bag. We're going to go up and over the middle bar and fold under our raw edge. Then we're going to go ahead and do a double line of stitching here. Now we're going to add on one of our swivel clasps, thread it through the adjustable slider, and then attach our last swivel clasp and fold over our ends here. And we're going to go ahead and double stitch that down. Now we're going to make our 2 D-ring tabs. We're going to draw a line down the center of the D-ring tab on both of them. Then take your double stick tape and run it down both long sides of each D-ring tab. What we're going to do is fold each long edge after we've taken off the backing of the tape and place them butting up right next to each other for that middle center line. Now all that's left to do is top stitch down each long edge. I use a 4.5 stitch length, and I do back stitch at the beginning and ends, and you'll just repeat this for the other D-ring strap. Go ahead and take this strap and thread it through the D-ring, and I'm just going to clip these for now. We'll install them later on in the bag. Alright, now all of our prep work is done. Let's go ahead and start building the exterior. Now it's time to build the exterior. I'm going to take the two exterior pieces, right sides together, and sew down this seam allowance at a 1/4 inch. Backstitching at the beginning and the end. Now I'm going to butterfly open this seam. I'm going to use double stick tape. This is an 1/8 inch double stick tape. And I'm just going to press that seam open for both sides. Now I'm going to get my Decoville base, and I'm using 1/2 inch double stick tape to put along the edges just to hold it in place. We're going to place it centered over that seam with a 1/2 inch clear on both short ends of the Decoville base. Now we're going to top stitch along each edge of the seam at an 1/8 inch, and I'm just going to go down one end, make a little tiny box basically. And this is your top stitch length. I used 4.5 on this bag, and I did backstitch. And I just want to note that I did put the Decoville and my exterior wrong sides together. Now I'm going to find the centers on my base and lay it right side up on top of the exterior. I'm just using a lighter to get rid of the fuzzies on the raw edges. Gonna put down some double stick tape down the middle. This is my 1/2 inch again, just to hold it in place before I top stitch to secure it. So just center it right over that seam. I'd just like to note that yes, I am this anal about making sure the base is properly in the center. It's probably not what most people would do, so just do you, boo. Now we're going to go ahead and find the centers of our tops where the zipper will be installed. It'll make it easier for installation later. And now we're going to go ahead and get our mouse head applique. To install this applique, you're going to need a 5x5 piece of clear TPU. You can get it at Mormino or Glitterbug Fairy. They're all really great. I'm measuring 2 inches down centered from the top because my applique is a little bit modified from what the pattern comes with. You can see here I'm using the printed out on cardstock version. There's also SVGs, but I just kind of wanted to get the lay of the land and actually cut out this piece before I installed the overlay portion I created. If you want to create your own overlay portion, just take that pattern piece, trace it on a piece of cardstock, and then add an eighth of an inch on the interior and then an eighth of an inch on the exterior, and then cut that out. So that's essentially what my overlay template is. But right now I'm just cutting out from the actual SVG template from the pattern. Just go slow and don't try to move your scissors, try to move your project, if that makes sense. So here is that 5x5 piece of clear TPU. I'm just going to add some double stick tape to hold it down, and we're going to put it on the back side of what we just cut out. I'm just burning right now with a lighter to get rid of the fuzzies since it is raw edged. So go ahead and place that over, and then we're going to stitch around the cutout design just to hold the window in place. I'm taking off my marker here. I put a little bit of tape on the back of this to hold it in place. You'll see me, I'm going to try to put this down on top first and then stitch, and I realize that, you know, it's shifting and I'm not liking that. So I will end up taking it off and stitching to attach just the clear window and then putting this overlay on top, and we'll stitch the outside of the design and the inside of the design to hold it. And this method can be used for any of the shapes that you want to have a, basically it's an Ida window is what we're creating. But we're not going to put pins in it. You could put pins in it, but we're going to put a little pouch with a glitter snow globe thingy. Now you can see me here, I'm literally hand cranking around these corners because I want my stitches to be as close to the edge as possible. It is time consuming. It is not for everybody, but it's for me. So I basically sew around this design 3 times, and it took me a very long time. So all in all, this bag took me about 2 hours to sew for my very first time through, including this little fancy applique. Now what I'm going to do is take my duckbill scissors and trim away the clear vinyl from around my stitches. I don't really know that this is necessary after constructing the bag. I kind of think I would have liked to leave the clear there for a little more structure, but you know, it's kind of up to you. Let me know what you think if you try it. So now I'm just gonna tape down my applique. I'm making sure it's straight. I would recommend adding a little more tape than I did. I did experience a little shifting, and here I'm just checking to make sure it's kind of even. So now we're going to stitch around the outside of the applique, overlay, and then we're going to do the same thing. I am pulling my thread tails to the back as well. So this is a pretty long process, even at a 300 speed. But most people say they like to see this. So let me know below if you like to see this process or if I should cut it out. I know my videos tend to be a little longer, but I'm always receptive to feedback, constructive or otherwise. I had went a little bit off of my overlay here, so I'm just redoing it. That's what I was doing. But here we go again, third time around. Sewing really is a test in patience sometimes, but I do enjoy it. It's kind of therapeutic to hand crank. Hours later. I mean, not to toot my own horn, but toot toot. So now I'm gonna add some self-adhesive foam from Fabric Therapy. I just cut it out of the seam allowance. Right now I'm gonna draw with the applique shape on, because essentially I don't want to cover up the hole. I want the window to be visible when I slide in my little glitter pouch. So I'm just kind of trimming out a rough circle around. If you decide to do this like me, I probably would be a little more precise with my circle I cut, because you can kind of see it at one point. I would probably trim down around the window because this is pretty thick stuff. And you can reposition it until you finally push it down, and then good luck. So I'm putting it on both sides, but I kind of cut it away from the bottom seam there because of the decoupage. So now I'm putting my linings right side together, making sure everything lines up, and I'm going to base that bottom seam at a 1/4 inch seam allowance. At this point you could just be done with your lining if you didn't want to add any interior pockets, but I'm going to add an interior zippered pocket. It is in the pattern directions, but I'm also going to create an additional slip pocket basically, but with the zipper overlay as my insert point. Now on future bags, I would probably line this with the back side of waterproof canvas, just so when you're looking into your window from the outside, you just see the nice side of waterproof canvas. So I would install just one side on this for the future, but right now I'm just getting rid of all my fuzzies, and I'm going to add some double stick tape on here. You probably do not need 2 lines of double stick tape on the top and the bottom for the one that you're just going to use for the slip pocket. So you are going to take one of these. We're going to do the zippered pocket first, and you're going to take off the outer tape. First I'm finding the centers here, that's always a good idea. But you'll take off the double stick tape on the outer edge and go ahead and place this center 2 inches down from one edge. Once you're happy with where it is, you'll go ahead and top stitch around the exterior 1/8 from the edge. Here I am being me again. Girl, just leave it alone. So this zipper overlay is really installed just like all zipper lays that I do, which also happens to be how Kathy does hers in her patterns. I do not backstitch. I'm going to pull my thread tails to the back. I added a little woven label right under the edge there before I do this exterior top stitching, but I'll eventually pull my thread tails to the back and tie them off. If you know where this woven fabric came from, can you please message me or comment below on this video? I cannot remember where it's from. I remember the print came out like 4 years ago, but I don't remember like exactly. The next step we're going to do is cut out the center of that overlay we just sewed on. Just be real careful because you don't want to actually cut the zipper overlay. You're just cutting the lining away from the middle. At this point, I'm going to go ahead and install the other zipper overlay, but this one we'll just be using as the slip pocket entrance to put our cool little glitter thing in there. Also, we need a name for that. Glitter snow globe is kind of a lot. It's a mouthful. At this point right here, I would probably put a piece of waterproof canvas that kind of goes down to the middle of the lining there. And you would want them wrong sides together with the back of the lining, because you're essentially going to see the wrong side of the lining through the Eda window, and you don't want to see that. So that's just a tip for me to you for next time. Now we've got our zipper pocket lining. I cut 2 on accident. You only need 1 for this bag. But I put a piece of double stick tape on the right side of the zipper pocket liner. And we're going to lay our zipper tape down right side up. I personally do not baste my zippers on 2 liners. I feel like it gives ripply zippers. So I just stick it down. We'll end up catching it at the end there. Here I am putting on a pole. Thinking I'm fancy. There we go. Stick that down. Now add a piece of double stick tape on the other short end. And then you're going to pull the zipper up so it's attached on the other side. So basically the right side of the waterproof canvas will now be encased inside this little pocket. Okay, now I'm pulling off the double stick tape backing, and we're going to line up this zipper, kind of center it, and we're going to line up the bottom of the overlay first. Try to get real even and close. Don't worry about sticking the top yet, because we're going to top stitch with this zipper liner facing towards the outside of the bag. We don't want to catch that when we do this bottom part. I am putting on my zipper foot so I can get close. So you just kind of start about an 1/8 inch away from the edge there and go all the way down. I don't back stitch, I pull my thread tails through to the back, tie them off and cinch them. Now you're going to peel off the other piece of double stick tape backing if you haven't already, and kind of fold down this liner. If she can hurry up already. Come on, Slowpoke. So kind of finger press, pull that down, and center the overlay real nice in there. Don't be afraid to be a little aggressive. And then we're going to top stitch starting where we ended our last top stitch and just go around the box. So we're not back stitching, just put your needle in that hole and go around the square. It's pretty simple, but it does take some skill, especially to get over the zipper tape teeth. Sometimes I hand crank. So finish where you started originally and then pull all those to the back. Since this bag is partially bound, you don't have to worry about leaving open any liners or anything to burr through. We're just going to tie them off and cinch them. And then we'll have to pull away our liner and sew down the sides, and actually we don't even need to sew along the bottom because this is one piece, which was genius. Now we're going to do the final assembly of our bag, get your main zipper, and we're going to lay a strip of 1/8 inch double stick tape down each end here, these little short ends. I don't know if they're short or long, but you know what I'm saying. We're essentially making a zipper sandwich. Again, I'm not going to baste my zipper on. Lay it right side down on this one end, and then we'll put another piece of double stick tape down on top of that. You gotta be mindful of where your linings go compared to your windows. So you don't want to put your zippered pocket where your clear window is, basically, is what I'm showing you here. So you're gonna lay your exterior and your interior right sides together with the zipper sandwiched in between. Then you'll sew these together with a 1/4 inch seam allowance. I had pulled my zipper tape apart, so I have one piece of the zipper on each side, if that makes sense. Now we're going to flip this so they are wrong sides together and your zipper teeth are out. And you can kind of just use your fingers and mush it down. Don't try to pull too hard on your zipper tape because then you might get a little bit of a wave. But now we're going to top stitch along this seam. At this point is where I would recommend to baste the liner to the exterior. I would just keep going all the way around. I think it would make it easier in final construction, which is why I rated this pattern kind of like from advanced beginner to like intermediate, because it's a little difficult on the final step, keeping everything together. And I just want to notice, do you see how you can see the lining, the wrong side of my lining there? That's why I would say put a piece of waterproof canvas on the other side of that. I'll be doing that on my next one. So now we've got to install our zipper pulls. You're going to install a zipper pull on each side. For this step, I would recommend a zipper jig or something. If you cannot get these zipper pulls on perfectly, it is a little hard to keep it straight. Now we are going to, based on our D-ring tabs, just kind of center them over your zipper and baste them down. You're going to want to get your side zipper gussets. You need a lining and an exterior. I did not understand that properly when I was cutting this out, but I will show you eventually. You know that extra zippered pocket liner? I use that. So it's all gravy, baby. So you're gonna want to line up one side of this with this side tab here, the gusset part and the zipper part. It is not, see how I'm measuring it? It's not the same size on both sides, so make sure you rotate it till it fits properly, because it will fit properly. Here I am back with the lining. So put the lining down. You're making a little sandwich. Lining touches lining, exterior touches exterior. We are going to go ahead. I'm getting my zipper foot on so I don't sew over that D-ring tab. but this is a 1/4 inch seam allowance. I did end up using my hump jumper. There you go. I use this thing all the time. It's a good investment. It's like $2. Let's go ahead and repeat for both sides, and then we're going to end up pulling those away from each other and top stitching, and go ahead and baste around the entire square. So do your top stitch, but then do the sides and the bottom as well. I'm just finding the centers here so that I can line them up with that bottom seam. This is kind of important so your boxed bag isn't like a little cattywampus. So it is a good idea, but I should have basted these two panels together, and I didn't. So learn from my mistakes. What I'm doing now is marking a 1/4 inch from each edge of those side gusset panels. You're going to basically sew this on, but stop at that 1/4 inch line so that we can finish out the box. This is the most difficult part of the bag, completing these side panels, but if you've basted your liner to your exterior, and you can use staples, I ended up using staples at one point, you'll be golden. I mean, it does turn out well. It's just a little bit more of an advanced wrangling, if you will. So after you've attached the bottom, you're kind of just pulling this around and clipping. This is why it's good to have your liner basted to your exterior once again. I do manhandle this a bit to get this to go, but you're basically going to pull down and attach it on the sides here, and then you'll sew that with the 1/4 inch seam allowance and just go down to your ending stitches from attaching the bottom to the side, if that makes sense. You'll do this for all three sides, so one side and the other side. After you've attached the bottom, you'll repeat for the other side of the bag. So attaching these sides, it would be most helpful probably to staple at 1/8 of an inch, and unzip your main zipper. It does make it easier to handle. The hardest side to attach is really the last side, but like I said again, I ended up doing staples at one point and it was great. Before you attach your binding and finish out one side of this, I would make sure that you caught both exterior sides in the seam. On the second side I didn't, so I had to go back and kind of unpick and do all that. But this is Fabric Therapy's Luxe Bound Self-Adhesive, and I just start at the top on one side and follow it all the way around the U, and it sticks itself right in place. And then I'm going to go back through and do kind of like a top stitch length and attach the binding on again at a 1/4 inch seam allowance. So you kind of just pivot at those corners and follow it around. See how it just sticks real nice? Boop boop. So I just clipped my corners there and we can top stitch. So we're going to complete the same process on the other side. I'll meet you back at the portion where we turn the bag out. All there's left to do now is turn your bag right side out, and you're done. You can slide your little glitter pouch right in there. Did it, besties. Here's our finished moon river. That's the little pocket that you can easily slide your glitter pouch in and out. I'm gonna show you now me just putting it in. Here's the pouch. I probably put a little too much glitter in this one and need a little bit more of the liquid part. So follow along on the next video to learn how to make this. But see, I'm just putting the waterproof canvas, holding it to the back so that you don't see the lining, the wrong side of my lining through the window. But there you go, I'm just adjusting it, putting it in there. It does stick a little bit to the clear window, just for the fact of they're both clear TPU touching each other. But after some adjustments, it doesn't slide around, so that's nice. And there you go. We're all done. So cute. Let's go ahead and put on our strap.